right, well here we are at Abingdon Manor. I'm here with Jeffrey today, and it is just past the Thanksgiving holiday and we're moving on towards Christmas. So we all know that everybody likes to do a little entertaining at Christmas time. So we have a couple of relatively simple but maybe a little bit unusual things, lots of nice flavors to work with. And we are going to do one beverage and 3 appetizers.
Sounds good.
If you wanted to pair these things with maybe a few other things like some toasted nuts and maybe some olives or some cheese and crackers and things like that, then you could have a very fun party very quickly. So that's where we're headed. And the first thing that we're going to do is start some apple cider mulling. And what this does, besides taste good, is it is very aromatic for your house. So we were just on a little trip to Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving, and I stopped at an apple orchard and bought this wonderful apple cider. So delicious. We are going to put about 2 cups of this into this pan. And this, obviously if you have a bigger crowd, you're going to need more than this, but for right now that's all we're going to do. And to that we're going to add these mulling spices that Jeffrey happened to have in his cabinet. And tell them what's in it.
It's a nice little combination. It has in it the cinnamon, allspice, little clove, some mace, and cardamom, which are all nice flavors into either, can be done with apple cider, or if you wish, you can even do it with a little red wine.
Right.
And they're both done the same way. You just take and measure out, add your spices right into your pot. They make a nice decoration. You float them around as you serve it. And then all you have to do is set it down onto a low flame and let it slowly warm up, and it will spread that wonderful smell throughout the house, and in about a half hour to an hour you have nice hot cider to start your day off with, your party off with.
Your party with. Yep, and you could also pair this with maybe some homemade eggnog. That would be really good too.
Excellent.
So now, while that simmers, we are going to talk about these 2 baked appetizers that we have. We're going to be working with phyllo dough, which most people get very nervous about, but you don't have to be. And also we have 2 different kinds of fillings to make what would be a traditional Greek and a traditional Indian appetizer. One is called spanakopita, and one is called samosa.
Samosa, yes.
So Jeffrey's going to show you how to work with the...
We'll start with the spanakopita, which is a filling made with feta cheese, spinach, onions, a little scallion, some seasonings. It has in it dill seed. I've toasted fennel and ground that. And it also has in it some nice toasted pine nuts. Makes it very colorful, a little crunch, and very flavorful.
Nice. Yep.
Now, working with the phyllo dough can seem scary at first, but remember, read the package directions. It's very simple. Take that package out of the freezer, slide it into the refrigerator overnight so that the dough defrosts, otherwise it's stiff. Once it's defrosted, you'll bring it out, you'll roll it out onto your counter, which is simple enough. You cover it with a layer of plastic wrap, which you see there, and a damp towel. This keeps the pastry from drying out while you go to work with it.
Now explain just a little bit too. Phyllo is very thin layers of dough.
It is like onion skin. It is so thin. We'll see that right now. And you'll watch me. I even blow on it to get it to come up and separate, because you can see that is as thin as can be.
That's it.
And all you have to do is drop it down. Traditionally, it is brushed with butter, but they have told us now, and we have found that if you buy a cooking spray that is butter flavored, it makes it a whole lot simpler than trying to brush it all down with the butter. That quick, I'm done. We add a second layer. We only need 2 layers to do this, because as you fold it up, it will thicken and become the nice thick pastry that you need to hold your appetizers. That's quick, simple. We want to recover our dough so it stays nice, it doesn't dry out. Now for the spanakopita, we're going to go lengthwise with this and cut it into 3 sections. And then we take just a simple teaspoon of filling, stack it on the one end, and then we're going to fold this up in a kind of triangular pattern, sort of like we would fold a flag. And that's quick and simple to do.
so you go right, left, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And it just folds right on over. Once it's folded, we just have to drop it on our little baking pan.
And we've lined this with parchment paper just so it doesn't stick.
That's right. Also nice is that this recipe does make up quite a few. You can get up to 60 appetizers out of this, but you don't have to worry about serving them all at once. You can pop these in the freezer and they will hold for 30, 60 days with no problem. So it'll get you all the way through the holiday season, so that if you have those surprise guests come over, you can pop them out of the freezer and right into the oven and have nice little appetizers.
And you don't, before this bakes, you don't need to do anything else to it. No more brushing of...
Well, I actually spray them with just a little more Pam just before I pop them in the oven to just keep them nice and moist.
But there's no egg wash, none of that
No
kind of
egg
stuff.
wash or anything like that. It's
So
very
that really
simple.
is pretty simple.
Now, the second one that we will do will be the samosa. And it's just simply cut a little bit differently. It's, again, the 2 sheets of pastry.
And I think after we put this pastry together, before we come back and talk about what's in the filling for this, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. That was long enough, wasn't it? Okay. All right, well, we're back, and here we go with information about the filling for the samosas.
Samosas. This is a traditional Indian. And it's very simple. You take boiling potatoes, you simply boil them, peel them, mash them, then add to it a little minced onion, garlic, mustard seed. Now, the garlic and mustard seed need to be cooked just a little to take the sharpness off of the garlic.
Okay.
And the mustard seed is interesting because you actually pop it. Take a pan that has a lid that will fit onto it, heat about 2 tablespoons of oil, you throw in about a tablespoon of the seeds and put the lid onto it. You'll hear it just like popcorn going pop, 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 and as soon as it stops...
And that's very normal in Indian cooking. When they add spices and particularly pods and seeds to things, that's exactly what they do. And apparently that just bursts the flavor right out of it.
It opens the flavor out. You want to throw in the garlic and just let it cook for, not even 10, 15 seconds.
Don't
just
let it brown.
You just want to take the sharp bite off of it. All get stirred together, and then there are some nice frozen peas that you have thawed and you add to it. Now we've set up our pastry again. This time, instead of lengthwise, we're going widthwise.
Okay.
And we're going to cut this one into 4 little...
So in half and half again.
Yes. 4 little portions.
Yeah, these are more like little puffed pillows than the...
Than the triangles.
Than the triangles are.
Well, it gives you a difference in the shape. You can make them any shape that you're comfortable with. But this gives you a little variance in the shape so that you have something more than just one look happening.
This always reminds me of Indian ravioli. Kind of what it could be, isn't it?
That's right. Now all you have to do for these is just fold it up, the 2 sides, and then fold it over. And it just goes over and over until you have this nice little pouch.
Yep.
Not difficult at all, and once you've sprayed the phyllo dough, it stays rather pliable so that you don't have to worry about it cracking and breaking. And when you do fold them, if there's like this a little extra piece on the end, you can just trim that off so it stays nice and neat.
Now I've also heard of a technique for doing this instead of with the phyllo. If you're a little afraid of trying to use this, you can also buy either spring roll wrappers or wonton wrappers and do the same thing.
I would suppose that you could.
Yeah, I think you can.
The spring roll might be a little bit better because it's a little bit thinner, a pastry, than the wonton. Wonton is a little bit thicker. You'd want to be careful with that because it could get awfully thick when you fold them.
Now, what happens if your phyllo tears?
Surprisingly, once you've oiled it and everything, I've had pieces that were in pieces as you put them together. The layers of it will hold it all together, and the fact that you're folding it up so many times over will repair itself on that, and it will hold with no problem. Now, we may just want to give those a quick little spray, and then we can pop them into the oven, and they bake for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're nice and brown. And then you really want to let them sit for 2 or 3 minutes at least before you put them out, because that hot potato can be very hot.
I was just going to say the spanakopita is hot, but the cheese kind of tempers that a little bit. The potatoes, on the other hand, can be extremely hot so do be careful with them, that's for sure. And I smell the cider beginning to do what it's supposed to do back here. So we'll let that go for a little while longer. And we'll take a break, put these in the oven, and when we come back, we'll talk about a really simple dip that's a sort of a takeoff on something that a lot of people do around here all the time, and maybe this will be a little different. So we'll be right back. Okay, the last thing we're going to do here for our little tray of goodies is cream cheese, and we're going to put this wonderful sauce on it that's called pick-a pepper sauce, instead of using either the red or green pepper jelly, which is I know is very popular in this part of the world. This sauce is actually made in Jamaica by a company that's called the Pick-a-Pepper Company, and it sounds like it should be loaded with peppers, but it's actually not. It's got tomatoes, onions, cloves, mango, raisins, all kinds of really wonderful.
So it has a little sweetness.
It does have a little sweetness, but it does have just a little bite. There is some pepper in there. There's some sea salt and stuff like that as well. So, and it doesn't get any easier than this. You shake it up, and you just pour it on the cream cheese. Not so much that it drowns it, but so that it looks pretty. And I think your guests will be very surprised and that they will like something that's got a little bit of a different flavor to it. You can use any kind of crackers you want, or if you'd like to take some small French bread loaves and slice those and toast them off with a little olive oil on them, that's great too. So just whatever you like. And when the spanakopita and the samosas are ready, we'll dish up the appetizers and the cider, and we'll be back and have a look at that. So here we are, ready to plate up all our goodies.
They've come out beautiful.
Yeah, they have come out very pretty. Not a lot of work, so you can relax and enjoy your time with your guests, not spend all your time in the kitchen worrying about what's happening. And these, like we mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, they will stay hot for quite a while. But they're good cold too.
Yes,
so
they are.
Once they're cooked, that's fine. You don't have to worry about them. And so Jeffrey's going to plate those, and I'm going to pour up some cider here. Oops. Oh, it smells wonderful. Someday we'll have smell aroma on.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah, which will be great, because you're missing half the fun if you can't be standing here smelling this. But at any rate. And we have garnished that with a few little bay leaves from the garden, which looks great, and also some marigold, just for a little bit of extra color, a little pop of color, and also to make it look, I think, very Indian, Middle Eastern kind of looking thing too. So that's great. So there's your cider, and we'll say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Yep.